In this video, I'll show you how to make the beaded possum. The supplies you'll need are 3mm seed beads, 28 gauge wire, and a pair of needle nose pliers. You'll also need something to be able to cut your wire with, but I find that just regular kitchen scissors work fine on this gauge of wire because it's very thin. The first thing you'll need to do is cut a length of wire. I find that 30 to 35 inches of wire is sufficient for this project. So I just do like about half of an arm's length. Once we have our length of wire, we'll want to find the center. So line up the two ends and pinch the wire like so to find the center point. Then I like to add keychains to all of my little designs, which requires a jump ring. The seed beads that I've linked for you come with jump rings, so I'm just going to grab one of those and I'm going to thread it on one of the wires and bring it to that center point. So now that we have the jump ring at that center point, I'm just going to pinch the wire and twist the jump ring around 3 or 4 times, just so it's secure. Something about these jump rings as well is they can have a little bit of an opening. So if you do have your needle nose pliers, you can grab your pair, and if you have a second pair, you can adjust to close that up. Now that we have our jump ring on there, the next thing we want to do is grab one pink bead. So we got to make his little nose. So I'm going to take one bead and thread it on one end of my wire and bring that to my center point here. Next, I want to take the wire that I didn't use and thread that through my bead. And then we want to pull that tight. You can adjust it a little bit so that both wires are about the same length, and it should look like this. Now we get started on his face, and we've got a row of 2 white beads. The process for stringing the beads is going to be the same every single time, unless we're doing things like little ears and little legs. But for the face in the next 3 rows, it's going to be the same. So I'll grab 2 white beads and thread them on one wire. I'll bring those beads to the center of my work, fold them over, and then with the wire that I did not use, I'm going to thread through both of these beads in the opposite direction. And then pull it tight. Sometimes wire can be a little bit finicky, so just move it around as needed to create the look you want. The next row is going to be 1 black, 1 white, and 1 black bead so we can get his little eyes. I find that the black seed beads in this current kit can be a little bit small, so I've selected the ones that are going to be about equal size to my white beads. And just like the row before, I'm going to string all of these onto one of my wires. The black, the white, and then the black again, and bring that to the center of my work. I'll fold that over, and then the wire that I did not use, I'm going to pass that through all 3 beads. And we're getting a little face. The next row is just going to be 3 white beads. I'll bring those to the center, and just like before, I'll take my unused wire and I'll thread through all 3 beads. So we've got his little face. In the next row, we're going to make his little ears, and then we're also going to start the body. So on one of my wires, I'm going to thread 3 black beads. I'm going to bring those to the center, but I'm not going to fold them over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to skip the first bead, and I'm going to bring my wire through the 2 black beads, but that's it, just the 2 remaining ones. And then I'm going to pull that tight. And what you want to do here is you want to sort of pinch these 2 beads and then pull your wire through so that you can make it tight on there. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, we've got those 3 beads for the ear. I'm going to skip the first one and just put my same wire that I have these beads threaded on through those 2 black beads and then pull that tight. And the next row I'm going to do like normal. So the next row is a body row, and I'm going to need 3 gray beads, but this kit doesn't have any gray beads, so I use this purple iridescent one. I find that it makes his body pretty cute, and it goes really well with the pink. So I'm going to take 3 of those purple iridescent beads, and I will thread those on one of the strands for the body. And just like normal, I'm going to fold that over and then take my unused wire and thread that through all 3 of the purple beads. Just want to even him out a little bit. So now we have his head and his little ears. In the next row, we're going to do 3 more beads for the body. And put 3 on here and then thread through with our unused wire. On this next row, we're going to make the legs. So the legs are interesting. We're going to thread 2 purple, 1 black, and 3 pink. So we've got all those. We're actually going to skip all 3 pink beads. And just like we did the ears, we're going to thread this wire back in on itself. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, just in the ones that we wound for the leg. And then we're going to pull that wire tight and you should see a little paw get created. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just like the other side, we're going to skip all the pink and just thread our wire through the other ones that we had put on this side. So the 1 black and the 2 purple, and pull that tight. We've got some little front legs. The next one is 4 beads for the next row of the body. So whatever body color you're using, go ahead and thread 4 beads. And like a normal row, we're going to use the unused wire and thread through all 4 of those beads. Now we have 3 more rows of this. So we're going to do 3 more rows of the 4 beads and then we'll do the legs again. Okay, so I've got his little body. I've done 4 rows of 4 beads each row, and now we're going to do the legs again. So that's 2 body color beads. In my case, that's the iridescent purple, 1 black bead, and 3 pink beads. Okay, I'm using the same wire that we just threaded on. We'll skip those 3 pink beads and thread our wire through the black and then the 2 body beads, and then pull that tight to make our little leg, and then we'll do that to the other side as well. So we've got those threaded, and then we will skip all 3 pink beads and thread through the 3 remaining beads and pull tight. Then the next layer of the body is just going to be 3 body beads instead of 4, since we're decreasing for the body now. So we'll do 3 of our body beads, and then on the next row we're just going to do 2 of the body beads, and then we'll go into making the tail. Okay, so we've done that row of 3, and now we do a row of 2 and then thread that through, and now we do his tiny little tail, which is going to be just single pink beads. So in order to do the tail, I'm going to grab 1 pink bead. So, and then just like before, you take the unused wire and then you thread it through, this time just a single bead. And we're going to do this for about like 5 rows till we get a nice long tail. But you kind of just go back and forth. And it's really important to straighten out your wire as you go. Make sure that both sides are pinching at the same tension. Otherwise, you're going to get sort of a wonky tail and you might not be happy with the finished product if that's the case. Okay, so I've got all the beads on here that I am looking to add for my little possum guy. But now the next thing is weaving in our 2 ends. Now this is pretty easy because you've got this long chain of just single beads here, and we're going to weave the wire back through his body to about right here. The way that we do that is I'm going to start by cutting just the very tip of this wire so that I have clean wire to start with. When you're pinching it and pulling it a lot, it can get kind of wiggly, and that makes it really frustrating to weave it back in. So all I'm going to do is bring my wire through every bead, zigzag it through. So all I'm doing is just weaving it back through in opposite direction, making sure to pull it tight so you don't get any wonky wires through. And I think we'll just cut them both here. So I'll just cut pretty close to the base, and then I like to just push down the tip of that wire. So And there you have it. We made another little possum friend. You could add a little keychain on here. You could make yourself a pair and turn them into earrings. Whatever you want to do with your little beaded friend, you're welcome to do so. You can also get bigger beads and larger gauge wire, make them larger. You can do it with those really big beads and string. You can use this pretty much any way that you want to. So feel free to make these. Feel free to do whatever you want with your new possum friend. Have a possum day.